All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having a great Saturday night. Today we have breaking Andre Drummond news. This is pretty much reported from Woj. I would say it's highly likely that Andre Drummond signs with the Los Angeles Lakers, especially considering LaMarcus Aldridge signs with the Brooklyn Nets today. But we'll talk about this here in just a little bit. If you enjoy this video, like I said, man, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Really appreciate it. Do Lakers video just about every single day. Do Nets videos pretty much almost every single day. So really appreciate it, man. I know you guys will enjoy it. Andre Drummond, front runner. He cleared waivers Sunday at whenever little after the deadline, the news came out on the deadline that he was going to get bought out, and they ended up clearing waivers tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we will see what happens. Finalization could happen to the Lakers earlier this weekend. But the star players on the Lakers, the front office, they've been recruiting Drummond hard, just kind of selling him on the opportunity to step in, defend the championship, and be in the starting lineup. The Lakers, they've just had really inconsistent center play with Marc Gasol, Trez. Neither of them are really great at defense. Marc Gasol isn't really much anymore, but Trez is still great at defense or great at offense, but the defense has never really been there in his whole career. Drummond's ability to protect the paint, it's really undervalued. His rebounding as well. It would just immediate impact. So Anthony Davis, hopefully he gets healthy. But Drummond, last couple of days, they've been having discussions with several teams since they reached a buyout on Friday, right after the trade deadline ended, or maybe it was a little before the trade deadline ended. They've been talking to the Lakers, the Clippers, the Knicks, Celtics, Hornets, and a couple of other teams. I know Chicago Bulls also were in that mix, but Celtics, I know they really could use Andre Drummond, man. They really could use him after losing Tice especially, but looking like the Lakers, they agreed to buy out the remainder of his almost $28 million. He averaged in 27 starts this season, 17.5 points per game, 13.5 rebounds. He has not played since February 12th, and after they got Jared Allen, the Cavs, Drummond's role was pretty much not much, so they just decided to get bought out, essentially. He spent 8 seasons with the Detroit Pistons, two-time All-Star, but got traded to the Cavs last season in 2020, man. This would be a really big baller move. He sits in the paint. He gets boards. I wouldn't be surprised if this dude came onto the Lakers and was averaging 15 and 15. I wouldn't be surprised, no matter how many minutes he's playing, even if it's 22, 24, 25 minutes. I still think a double-double is definitely what he would be averaging. Statistically, that might be what could hinder his want to come to either Los Angeles team, the Clippers, or the Lakers. Maybe he would have a bigger role, obviously, on a team like the Knicks or even the Hornets. Try to get them to continue to be in the playoffs. There he would probably go off. I've always said, if you guys watch my videos, you guys know I've never really thought Drummond was a good first option. He's always been a first option. He spent so many seasons in Detroit, spent a season in Cleveland. He's always been that first option, and that is just a little bit too much of a role for him. I know he could. It's not that he can't handle it or that he doesn't want to handle it, but he does too much sometimes. I feel like that's the tendency with Andre Drummond is he tends to try to do too much, and it ends up hurting him. It ends up hurting the team. But like I said, bro, he's been on Detroit for 8 seasons. Just imagine being on the Pistons roster for 8 seasons. No disrespect, Detroit Pistons fans, but you guys haven't been that good. You guys haven't had star power in a long time. So Andre Drummond, I think, on a team like the Los Angeles Lakers, where you're the third option behind LeBron James and you're behind Anthony Davis, I think that's the exact opportunity you thrive in. I think he would do good on Brooklyn. Obviously, statistically, it wouldn't be there. They've got a whole bunch of players now, so I think Brooklyn is just definitely out of it because Brooklyn was never really in it anyways since the trade deadline. They were in it for a couple of weeks before the rumblings of the trade deadline actually happened, or the rumblings were happening before the trade deadline ended. So now that the trade deadline is over, LaMarcus Aldridge is on the Brooklyn Nets, which is just a baller move by them. Shout out to the Brooklyn Nets for making a move like this because it's something that they needed to do. Blake Griffin is cool. Blake Griffin is good. Isn't exactly what he used to be, but he can still play. I mean, he dropped 17 points or 17 points last night, 2 nights ago, whenever it was. He's still good, man. He still got it, but LaMarcus Aldridge stretches the floor. Like, that's maybe the one bad thing about Andre Drummond is can't really stretch the floor because of his inability to shoot the long ball. But, man, LaMarcus Aldridge on the Brooklyn Nets is a big move. So if the Lakers can get Drummond, or I guess they are getting Drummond, this is exactly the type of move that they needed to make. And they're not going to be done yet. They still have 2 open roster spots. So I would expect them to be going for Avery Bradley. I think Avery Bradley would fit this team pretty well, and maybe even Otto Porter. But we'll get more news about possible, more buyout candidates as the season progresses, as the days go by, day by day, day by day. Like Drummond tomorrow, when a lot of us, by this time tomorrow, I expect Andre Drummond to make his decision, and I expect it to be the Los Angeles Lakers, especially considering Woj tweeted that the Lakers are the front runners. I would consider this 99.9%, definite to happen. So the Lakers, they could really use it, man. They just lost like 4 straight games. Got a nice win against Cleveland last night, but I guess it is Cleveland when you think about it. They're still the 4 seed. Got a game and a half lead ahead of the Trailblazers and the Nuggets, but I would say keeping the top 4 seed is extremely important. Definitely don't want to slip behind that. We're only a game behind the Clippers, only 2 games behind the Suns, but definitely the Jazz are a little tough to get at 33-11. They're looking good. So 29-17, still a good season for the Los Angeles Lakers, but definitely could use a little win streak here. Andre Drummond would definitely get that going, and my one issue is he hasn't played in a while, so it would probably take him just a little bit to get back. I mean, it didn't take Blake Griffin all that long to get back, so not too long, but it definitely, wouldn't be right away. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. I'm curious to hear what Lakers fans have to say. I'm curious to hear what Nets fans, just NBA fans in general, have to say. So leave a comment on this, where you think Andre Drummond is going to sign, or if you agree he's going to sign with the Lakers. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the signing. So hope you guys are having a good one. Hit that sub button. Like I said, man, really appreciate it. Helps me out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.